everybody. Welcome back to Fear Given and Rethemed. We are your hosts, Casey and Sean. For those of you that this is your first episode, welcome. We talk about haunted attractions, movies, and horror stuff, along with our opinions. So the last few podcast episodes, we've been talking about found footage franchises. So today we are kind of wrapping that up, and we're going to discuss Grave Encounters. There's only 2 of these, so it should be a little quicker.
I'm going to pull you and say, yeah.
Perfect.
Because I don't have anything else to say about that.
Yeah, I feel like we should probably split that intro or something.
Yeah,
going
probably.
Forward.
Hi, everyone.
Whatever. So you sent me no notes. You sent me a blank sheet of paper, basically, and just switched out the title to say Grave Encounters Review. So would you like to read the overview for the first movie? Because I guess, what are we doing? How are we doing this? You have a plan, and I didn't pay attention.
It's okay. So we know who does all the work around here.
Yeah, I just show up.
We'll go through the overview of the first movie, Grave Encounters, and then we'll kind of do like we did last time with like the rating and stuff.
Okay.
And then we'll just talk about our opinions on it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, so stop. Okay, so Grave Encounters came out in 2011. And this is the overview that I pulled from IMDb. Lance Preston and the crew of Grave Encounters, a ghost hunting reality television show, are shooting an episode inside the abandoned Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital, where unexplained phenomena have been reported for years. All in the name of good television, they voluntarily lock themselves inside the building for the night and begin a paranormal investigation, capturing everything on camera. They quickly realize that the building is more than just haunted. It's alive, and it has no intention of ever letting them leave. They find themselves lost in a labyrinth maze of endless hallways and corridors, terrorized by the ghosts of the former patients. They soon begin to question their own sanity, slipping deeper and deeper into the depths of madness, ultimately discovering the truth behind the hospital's dark past and taping what turns out to be their final episode. So yeah, in this movie, so there's gonna be there's gonna be spoilers. So
I mean, the movies have both been out for 10 plus years.
Yeah, but I had not seen it, so like other people I'm sure haven't seen it.
Okay.
So if you listen to our episodes, just know that
We're going to spoil
everything. Spoil it. So just either go watch it first or you don't care. Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude about it, but so in the beginning, it was very cheesy. It was like, obviously they're making fun of Ghost Adventures.
They had to have been.
Yeah. Yeah, Zach Bagans. Is that how you say it?
I don't know if it's Bagans or Baggins. It's kind of like that dog commercial for the treats. Begging for Baggins.
Baggins?
I don't know. Either way, yes. I think they have to have been making fun of Ghost Adventures. Because I think Ghost Adventures started in 2008.
Yeah, so it was like
probably between 2 to 3 years after that.
Yeah, so that makes sense. And it's very, like, they have, like, their dark clothing. They have the...
Oh, yeah. The stance, the personality.
Yeah, so they're definitely making fun of that, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Special effects, I thought, were actually pretty good for this type of movie.
Yeah. They didn't they didn't go super heavy on it for the first one. The second one, they added a little bit more. But even then, it wasn't like later in the season or later in the franchise of Paranormal Activity and Hell House where they overused it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad that they stopped at 2, even though there was a third planned.
Yeah, that's true. I also thought it was pretty funny. There were several scenes that were like, that made me laugh. Like the part where in the beginning, they asked the groundskeeper if he's ever seen anything, and he's like, no. And he's like, all right, what about $20? How does that sound? Can you just like say that you seen something?
Yeah. So I have the gardener's quote.
Yeah.
As one of the way I have my notes broken down for this is for each movie I have a list of favorite quotes. I have a few favorite scenes, and then I have a bunch of like things that I thought were interesting.
Okay.
So
You probably have more notes than I do, so go ahead.
I got 3 pages.
Oh my gosh. See, every single time we think that this is not going to be a good episode, and then,
We don't think that. We don't think it's going to be a long episode.
well,
and
whatever.
then we
That's what I meant.
end up doing this.
Okay.
So the gardener's quote was, and I'm not going to do the accent because
That's not.
I can't do it right. So the gardener just says, after they pay him $20, I saw a ghost right over there. It was really scary. And pretty much deadpan, just like that. He no emotion behind it. Just, what did you want me to say? Okay, yeah, give me $20. I've got to get to work.
Yeah, that was funny.
I have 3 more quotes I
All
can
right.
share.
Sure.
So did you notice? So there was a medium that was part of their cast. His name was Houston Gray.
Yes.
So I have a fun fact already.
Oh, great. Okay.
So
What's your fun
Houston
fact?
Gray's real name is Mackenzie Gray, like in real life. So they just switched his
Oh.
first name.
Wonder why they chose Houston.
I don't
Is
know.
he from Houston?
So I listened to another podcast called The Horror Virgin,
Mm-hmm.
and they so they think that they only named him Houston Gray so that they could make this one joke. And I don't think that you caught it. I rewatched the movie this morning
Mm-hmm.
just to see if they were right or if they like took it out of context or reworded it.
Okay.
So do you remember when the lamp fell when they were all sleeping?
Yes.
Do you remember what TC says to Houston? Because
No.
he thinks that Houston was the one that
Knocked
knocked
it
the
over.
lamp over.
Yeah, no.
So TC stands up and yells, "Houston, what's your problem?"
Okay, I do remember that.
So like, Houston, we have a
Houston,
problem.
we have a problem. I
Yeah.
did catch that, but like in my
he
mind, I
even
was like,
said
"That's
it.
funny."
Like, he didn't say it with the same inflection you would expect somebody to say it in that
Right.
instance. It was a very like,
Yeah.
it
like,
felt like it was straight
"Houston,
out of the
what's
other
your
movie.
problem?" Yeah, that's funny.
I thought there was some good bit of foreshadowing that even led
Mm-hmm.
into the second movie when Lance Preston said, what, 2 minutes into the movie, "Don't worry, she films everything," talking about Sasha.
Yeah.
So that was really neat. And then Jerry Hartfield, which is the executive producer.
I don't know, to be honest.
They showed him at the beginning of the first movie, and then he came back in the second movie.
Oh, like the fake producer of
Yeah.
the movie.
So in the first movie, he starts it out with, "None of this has been doctored. All
Mm-hmm.
of this is raw footage reassembled to enhance viewing time, or to
Yeah.
be condensed in viewing time."
He shouldn't have said that.
The second movie, at the end, it finishes with him saying, where's it at? Oh, all of this is fake footage, and that he should have said that the first time.
Yeah.
So complete 180. I thought that was really cool that it kind of started with him in the first movie, ended
Yeah.
with him in the second.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, I didn't either until I rewatched it. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Dr. Arthur Friedkin.
Yeah, do you know the actor that plays him?
Not personally.
I don't either, but do you know his name?
I do not.
His name is Arthur Korber. So they just switched
Korber.
his last name.
Oh, cool.
So opposite of Mackenzie and Houston Gray.
So Dr. Arthur Friedkin, he was the doctor that was in the sorry. The sorry, my little hamster wheel brain over here. The let me start over. What just
Who
happened?
was Arthur Friedkin?
Dr. Arthur Friedkin, freaking, was the doctor of the psychiatric hospital. Okay, and he was obsessed with performing lobotomies on patients. And then the patients ended up murdering him. So that's how he died. So,
How'd you learn that?
I Googled it.
How does Google know?
So what's a lobotomy? Do you know what a lobotomy is?
I would guess a lobotomy is something that Anthony Hopkins is very good at.
Yeah, he probably is. So a lobotomy is, if you don't know, it's a surgical procedure in which the nerve pathways in a lobe or lobes of the brain are severed from those in other areas. The procedure was formerly used as a radical therapeutic measure to help grossly disturbed patients with schizophrenia, manic depression and mania, or bipolar disorder, and other mental illnesses, and it first emerged in the late 1880s.
I feel like you undervalued my Anthony Hopkins joke.
What do you mean?
Did you get it?
Yes, Clarice.
All right, just checking. We haven't watched through that whole franchise yet, so I just...
Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, I got
All
it.
right, just checking. Sorry, you didn't laugh. You didn't nothing.
So, because I'm focused on my... If I turn a corner and I start talking about something else, I'm going to lose my track.
Okay.
Remember, I have a hamster wheel in my head.
All right, well, what's next then?
So, just talking about lobotomies.
Okay.
So, in the movie, he does lobotomies on all of his patients. And in the movie, they said that they can't, like, the crazy people or whatever.
I don't think they like being called that.
Well, no, but they are. They're mentally ill.
Yeah. They are mentally unwell.
So, back then, when there was tons of...
They would classify anything as
They would call it...
mentally ill.
They would call it a loony bin. They would call it an insane asylum. They would call it...
Yeah, but like at that time, it could be like you and I were having a conversation, or I was talking to you and you like talked back.
Yeah.
And I could be like, she needs to go there.
Yeah.
She's not respectful, or we watched a paranormal investigation with Celia Boo and Chris.
And Chris Collins, yeah.
And they were reading through like what would be classified for a female mental institution. And it was like a bunch of ridiculous things, like back talking, or I don't know,
like
that's the one I remember.
It was like being called a witch, basically.
Yeah, but for like the dumbest stuff.
Yeah. So, insane asylums are now called like psychiatric hospitals or mental health facilities, and it actually. So I'm gonna go and say one of my fun facts. So, the place that they were filming at, is a setting of a fictional hospital. They call it Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital in Maryland. It's actually called Riverview Hospital, which is an abandoned mental institution in Coquitlam, British Columbia.
Okay. Is that the one they reference and they bleep out in the sequel?
Yes.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. And so I think they did that on purpose, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was built at the turn of the 20th century, and it actually didn't close down until 2012.
Jeez. So that doesn't make sense. After both of these movies came out?
That's what it said.
Where did
But
they
it
ship
was
everybody?
it was also who got shot.
Not shot. Where did they like ship all the patients while they were filming? Because that looked abandoned.
I don't think it was an active facility. I don't think. I think it was still like open to the public, I guess. It also hosted such films as Watchmen and TV shows like The X-Files. So this so since it did close down like relatively early, I did research a little bit about I'm going to butcher this word because I have a weird brain. Deinstitutionalization. Oh, I actually did it.
That was good.
That was good,
That was
right?
impressive.
So deinstitutionalization.
You're pushing your luck saying it again.
I'm not going to say it again. So there are 3 forces that drove the movement of people with severe mental illness from hospitals into the community. Okay. So they would take all of their patients and kind of disperse them out into the community because they realized that like lobotomies and like whatever they were doing like could be treated with modern medicine and stuff.
So it was like Dream Team in real life.
What?
Do you remember that movie?
No.
Oh, wait, no.
Oh, sorry.
Is it Dream Team? No, I think it's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where he kidnaps like half the group and takes them on a bus to a baseball game.
Yes.
All right, sorry, not Dream Team. But I think Dream Team probably has a similar premise. I don't know. Now I'm just making stuff up in my head.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyways, so the belief that mental hospitals were cruel and inhumane, and so that they had a belief in that, like back in the day, which is obviously true because they were doing lobotomies like when they were just like chilling, they were like, all right, let me just stab something in your head and take out part of your brain, for like no reason. Well, they thought that they were like crazy, but obviously sometimes there's actually nothing wrong with them. They just didn't really know what mental illness was at the time. And they had the hope that new antipsychotic medications offered a cure and the desire to save money. So it was all to like save money and push people out into the community and make sure that they didn't have all of these, because there's a lot of psychiatric hospitals, or insane asylums is what they called them. But I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Are you still Googling something?
Yes, and I was right. It was Dream Team with Michael Keaton.
I don't remember that.
So on that one, the psychiatrist takes 4 mental patients on an outing to Yankee Stadium.
Oh, well, that would be cool to watch.
We've seen it.
What?
It has Michael Keaton, Christopher Lloyd, Peter Boyle.
I do not
Those are the main
remember
3
that.
I recognize.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I mean, good enough to stick in my head.
Yeah, apparently.
So now I'm re-questioning whether they had a similar scene in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, all right. Well, let's go back to
whatever.
Grave Encounters, because we're getting way off topic now.
Yes.
So, do you have any other things to say about...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go
What
ahead.
was your scariest scene or your favorite scene from this movie? The first one.
When the... and it got me every single time. I don't remember how far into the movie it was, but when the thing was in the corner in the ceiling.
It's at the very end, and it's called the Tongueless Ghost or Tongueless Demon.
Oh my gosh, scared
Because
the
you
crap
see the
out of
tongue
me.
on the floor first, and then it drips, and then you
right.
look up, and...
Yes.
"Meh."
Yes, that scared me.
Um,
And it comes like... Oh, and then there was another part where it like runs at the end of the hall and runs straight towards the camera.
uh-huh.
Ooh, that scared me.
So that didn't really make my top 2 scariest scenes.
Okay.
So my 2 favorite scenes were the first one being when the person runs across the hallway in the background, and then they walk into the room thinking that it is... What's his face? What's his name? Matt? Is it Matt?
I don't know.
The one that was in love with Sasha.
Oh, yeah, I think it was Matt.
Okay, we'll just assume it's Matt. So they think it's him, so they follow him, and then it's a girl standing in the corner in like a hospital gown,
yeah.
and then she turns around with the
on her
possessed face.
Yeah, that's creepy.
My second favorite was when the arm came through the opening, like the door window, and
Oh,
grabbed
yeah.
Sasha.
No, it grabbed
Sasha.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Sasha. That happened in the second one, too.
I have a whole list of scenes
That happened.
that were almost identical between the
Okay.
first and the second movie.
Good. I also forgot to share the IMDb rating on this.
Okay.
Did I? Yeah, I think I did.
don't know,
I didn't.
stop listening.
Anyways, it's 6.1 out of 10. What
would
would you
I would
give
rank it 4 out of 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I gave it a 6.
It was better the second time I watched it,
Yeah.
but I don't know. To me, this doesn't fall into the same caliber as Paranormal Activity or even Hell House, to be honest. I would put this lower than that.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't that scary.
No. And what was interesting is, so the Vicious Brothers, the directors of this, their main goal was, if we're going to do a haunting type movie with found footage, they didn't want it to be like Paranormal Activity. They didn't want it to be where you never see what's actually haunting them.
Right.
They wanted it to be in your face, large, loud, and in charge. And they did that,
Yeah, technically.
but it still felt like 75% of the movie was just kind of vacant.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
it wasn't
It
really
didn't.
even messing with them for a while.
Right. And then they left so many storylines out, like the whole demonic, at the end when they showed the...
Yeah, they started a whole lot of stories and then didn't really finish any of them. So after Houston Gray disappears and probably 75% of the way in, they never talk about him again.
No,
Nobody
I know.
even
I know.
acknowledges that he went missing.
He's not that important, I guess.
Um,
That would be me.
So I have a whole list of things I thought were interesting that were really probably minor, but
Okay.
it was worth me writing a note about it.
Okay.
So the fake interview from the gardener that just started working there like a week before was funny to me because I'm curious. I'm still super skeptical when it comes to like ghost encounters, adventures, like all of the paranormal. Because again, I've only had one experience and I was really little, so it's easy to rationalize and build it up in my head as way more than it was.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious how many of these shows are staged, even down to something simple like that. Like, hey, we need an interview with somebody that's maybe isn't super important or isn't anybody you would typically get an interview from. So like they're not the owner of the facility, they're not the general manager. They go there to do yard work or whatever else.
Oh, so
they
you
don't even
think
go
that
inside.
you think the gardener was an actual gardener?
I don't know.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm saying like in real shows.
Oh, yeah.
How often do they have to pay people to give an absolute 100% fake interview?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't
Probably
know.
more often than you think.
I think pretty often, so.
Oh, well then.
Do you remember the couple near the beginning when they were still doing interviews with like people that had gone there and they talked about they had made out on in one of the rooms and then they looked up and saw something?
I vaguely remember that.
Do you remember that the girl had a pixelated face? So the guy was
Yes.
talking and then her face was like blurred out.
Yeah, so
But then she had a huge chest tattoo.
I do remember that.
That was probably pretty telling if you're in the area who that
Right.
could have been.
Right. So why was her face blotted out?
I don't know. I thought that was funny.
Maybe they just did it like as like a
Who knows? Maybe they didn't have to pay her as much if they blocked. Maybe it was Sasha, and they just gave her a tattoo so that they could recast in like several different roles.
No, that girl was way taller than Sasha.
Yeah, whatever. So this was the first time I'd ever seen in a paranormal investigation somebody pulling out a Geiger counter.
What is a Geiger counter?
I looked this up earlier. I'm probably going to say it wrong, but I'm not a scientist and I don't work with them. So it measures radiation. I think alpha, beta, and
Zeta, theta.
yeah, all the Greek letters. So it measures radiation.
Okay.
So I don't know how much radiation plays in with ghost hunting.
Okay.
But
you
again,
would
this was
think-
kind of a weird one. Like I've never seen somebody like, oh yeah, I have a Geiger counter. They are used in paranormal investigations. I've just never seen it or noticed it.
So is this the part where like it shows the
No, they never use it.
Oh, okay.
They
They
just
had
they're
it.
talking through all their tools at the beginning. Matt
Yeah.
is, and he's like, we have this, we have that, we have a Geiger counter, and
Yeah.
never talks about it again.
That's so strange.
It was really weird.
Okay.
You already talked about Zach Baggins
Mm-hmm.
being almost identical with Lance Preston.
Yup.
In the room, the patient room with all the writing on the walls.
Yes.
I would love to know how long it took to set dress that or to
I
write
would-
all of that on the
I
walls.
would also like to know
It took forever.
whether it was the patient's writing or if it was the entity's writing or both. Remember? Because in the second
The-
one, the entity was writing on the wall to talk to Lance.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I don't know when the caretaker came in. Like, I don't know how much he was aware of, but he said that it was the patient.
Okay.
But if he wasn't there when they actually had patients, I don't know that he would know whether it
Right.
was spirit versus that.
Right.
But yeah, that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A really cool effect, or a few different effects that I liked in the first one, was the fog filling the camera frame,
Yeah.
and then Sasha disappearing.
right. that
Because
was
she
cool.
never technically dies.
No, she just gets. she
She's-
just disappears.
She disappears completely.
Yeah. Well, she was really sick. She started like throwing up blood and like.
Right. But she didn't act possessed.
No.
The worst thing that happened to her was she was laying on the ground and threw up blood.
Right.
And then she fell asleep next to Lance.
And then the
And
mist
then the smoke
came.
when they were in the tunnels. And then poof, she's gone.
Yep.
And he starts acting like a crazy guy,
Well,
which is where we pick up in the second movie when he
Yeah.
comes back.
and he starts eating rats.
Yes.
It's so nasty.
When they fell asleep in the closet, and they
Oh,
woke up and they had the wristbands with all their
yeah,
names. That was a really cool touch.
it was. That's really creepy.
The ritualistic altar thing, I tried to look up that specific like symbol because it's
Yeah.
like a square,
It is weird.
and then on every corner it has like a little like hook or a
Hook.
fang or talon type thing.
That's really weird.
I'm pretty sure that was just completely made up.
I don't understand
They never
why.
explain the whole ritual or
No.
process. Like, they didn't really say it was occult or demonic.
I mean, obviously, it had to have been something demonic released because they had an altar
I don't know. They
and
didn't
then
even talk about it. There was a skull near it.
right, and then in the second one they had a Ouija board.
They had a Ouija board.
Well, it actually wasn't a Ouija board; it was a spirit table,
Yeah, because
and
they just kind of wrote all the letters on it and talked to
or
that.
it was like burned into it or something.
And then
like
they had a
that.
scene where they held up a baby,
Ugh, I didn't like that
and
scene.
then that was it. Like, there wasn't. They never actually talked about a ritual or a cult or a following or anything.
No,
It didn't make any sense.
it
It
didn't.
It felt very forced. Like they had to create a story as to why this all started happening, but they didn't actually do a good job.
My
Like, it didn't
theory-
explain anything.
My theory is that Dr. Arthur,
Mm-hmm.
he was like into
The occult.
the occult and that's just what he was doing, and then he was taking that and
They
maybe
did say that he had opened up a doorway or a portal.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like
I wish they had spent a little
it
bit
was
more time on
similar
this story.
to Hell House, similar
Yeah.
to Paranormal Activity, where there's clearly a doorway, there's a passage, there's
Mm-hmm.
something, but they didn't actually sum it up. And maybe the third one, which was supposed to be the prequel, maybe that was gonna be
Yeah,
kind of their resolution,
it should have been.
but they never ended up actually filming anything,
Yeah.
or at least not publishing it. And then the last thing I've got for this one is when Matt, near the end, he starts laughing and then he starts crying in kind of a mixture.
Yeah.
And I put, I don't know why it came to me this way, or I thought about it, but I wrote down laughing to keep yourself from crying and how relatable that felt.
Yes, that is very true. I do that on the daily.
And that is all I've got
Okay.
for the first one.
Going on to Grave Encounters 2, it only came out a year later.
But what's allegedly set 10 years later.
Right. Yeah. So like that doesn't
Kind of
make any
strange,
sense.
but
So for people who don't believe the events of Grave Encounters, the actual first movie, Grave Encounters film student Alex Wright is out to prove them wrong. Alex is as obsessed with the first film as the 20 million people who viewed its viral trailer on YouTube. While he and his friends research the events and visit the real psychiatric hospital depicted in the original film, they find themselves face to face with unspeakable evil, banking on the hope that their knowledge of the original film will help them survive the sequel. So the rating for IMDb was 5.1 out of 10. And I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I gave it a 5 out of 10. I like this one better than the first one.
Yeah, I did too. Only because it just like, I don't know, it did take a while for it to like actually feel like it
Yeah.
was a Grave Encounters movie because they took so long in the beginning
To set up.
to set it up.
How did they get back there?
Right.
Why?
And then I was just waiting for it. I was like, obviously they're going to go to the hospital. Like,
Right.
they're like, what, 2 hours away?
Yeah, you have to go.
Yeah. So, and the whole death awaits thing. So then they get like a, what's his name?
They start getting
Alex.
emails from this
Yeah.
Death Waits user.
Death awaits. And
which
they're
is
like,
the same
oh,
phrase that's written on the door.
right. So it's not an actual person. It's
Right.
the entity, the paranormal
Or
entity, or doctor.
It's Lance.
Or Slants. But how can he doesn't have a laptop.
We don't know that. If the walls are always changing, maybe it's like Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, where it's stuffed in a
Oh
closet.
my gosh.
Full Wi-Fi capability in the middle of the country.
That's funny. The special effects are still pretty good in this movie, except there are some of them that are like really bad.
Some of them are terrible.
Like awful, like the door portal.
The door portal. So I have something on the door portal thing.
Okay.
Um,
Kind of reminded me of Mad Max.
I have not seen Mad Max.
What?
I don't know when you saw it.
High school? We did like a report on it and stuff.
Is there an old Mad Max and a new one?
Yeah, we
Okay.
watched the very old one,
Oh, I
like
haven't
the
seen either.
original one.
What's the new one? Like Mad Max Fury Road or something?
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
whatever. I don't know.
They're good.
So I think that the portal scene would be really cool in a real like haunted attraction. And I thought about
Okay.
how would you pull it off?
Like the black hole.
Yes, and kind of
Yeah.
that's where all the papers are flying everywhere and everything.
Yeah. Ooh, I know how you could do it.
Okay.
So like when you go through a haunted house or like, the thing that spins and spins and you're like on a bridge or whatever. What are those called?
Uh, is it
Spinning
claustrophobic
bridge?
tunnel?
I don't know, a
Spinning
tunnel thing or
bridge.
whatever. But that would be cool. You could have like wind and
It would.
and it's just completely black with like sounds and stuff.
Why
and you
does
could
it need to be completely black if you're going to
Because
do a
it's a-
spinning bridge?
because it's a black tunnel.
Yeah,
Or
but,
it could be red.
well, if it's going
like
to
you're
be
going into
full
hell.
like blackout, then why make it a spinning tunnel? Why don't we
I
just make it a
don't-
hallway?
I don't know because
I like
it's-
the idea.
Okay,
but I
so
have a
add
different
some
way.
add some red in it. Add some
Okay.
glitter. I don't know.
Glitter. Okay.
Fine. You know
So
what?
I was
You don't
thinking-
care about my opinions.
I like your opinion. I
Mm-hmm.
just, to simplify it, I think it would be really easy to do in a narrow hallway. At the end of the hallway, have a commercial, like industrial fan, and you can even set it up like it's a HVAC like exhaust fan or something like that.
Yeah.
Have lightning strobe effects in
Ugh.
different places, similar to Hell House had
Yeah.
in the first movie. You can put loose papers on the ground, or maybe like glue half the paper up, kind of like how we have in our haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
And between the actual fan being on and the lightning, the strobe effects, the loose paper on the ground, you're gonna feel that full force of the wind coming at you.
Right.
And I'm not talking about like a little like table fan.
No, it
like
has to be like
the big ones,
Mhm.
like in like a mechanic shop.
right.
So something like that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that would be cool. I like my idea better, but whatever.
your idea is super expensive.
I know.
Those tunnels are not cheap.
I
We learned
know.
that.
I know. I always go for the big idea. So yeah, the portals scene was visually awful.
The floating cameras, I didn't like.
Oh, that was dumb. And then we talked about the satanic ritual on the baby. That made me like really sick to my
I
stomach.
still don't really understand what they were doing.
He,
They
like,
did like a
cut-
Lion King moment.
I know, but then he like cut the baby's neck. Oh my god! I
Did
don't
he?
even. Yes, it was so bad.
Oh, maybe I turned
like,
away
the-
because I just saw him lift up the baby and the
No.
baby came down and
You
you
didn't
heard.
hear me scream. I
I
was
mean,
like,
I heard
oh
you
my
scream, but I
God."
didn't. I don't know. I thought they did it off screen,
No,
and I
it
thought they
was-
just made a sound effect for it.
Mm-mm. I did not like that.
Oh well.
But I guess spoiler alert. But this whole thing is, I was not expecting Alex to actually kill his girlfriend at the end.
I'm not surprised at all.
I was like, oh,
He
I didn't know.
seemed a little nuts in the beginning,
He's obsessed. He was obsessed with his
and
film.
it wasn't even his girlfriend technically.
Yeah, it was.
No,
They weren't dating.
nope.
Oh, that's right. They were just like,
She was his actress, and
Oh,
she
right.
liked him, and he was oblivious to everything and didn't care about anything but filming.
that's true. Yeah, boys. Boys will be boys.
Were those all your favorite scenes?
Yeah, and then in the end, when we go back to the what's it called guy, the film or the producer of the movie, he tells them, this isn't
All of it's fake.
All of it's
You
fake.
should have said it the first time.
And then Alex says, like, warns people not to go to the hospital because it's not worth it.
yeah,
And then the credits roll, and then they have a before the credits roll, there are coordinates shown
yeah.
to the
Latitude,
actual
longitude.
to the actual Riverview Hospital that's in British Columbia.
Yeah, that they bleeped out the name.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
I thought that was funny. So
So some of my favorite quotes from this movie, I think both of them were Lance Preston.
That was it? Just Lance Preston?
Yeah, just one guy walking around. Lance Preston. No, he was my favorite character in the sequel. The first movie, my favorite was Matt.
Yeah.
I thought he was a phenomenal actor after he got lost and then came back.
Yeah, and
That's
the
when
gown
he
and stuff.
it turned
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that
So
was
for this one, Lance Preston, when he comes out,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Jumanji style, crazy guy in the dark,
good. That's so funny.
I've got two quotes from him. One was when Alex was talking about he has bolt cutters. And I don't know, again, none of these are really funny out of context, but in the movie, they were great.
Yeah.
So they're talking about the bolt cutters, and Lance just turns around, "You have bolt cutters?"
I know,
And
like,
freaks out.
after 10 years, he
Right.
doesn't have a conversation with someone, and all of a sudden he's like, "You have bolt cutters?"
Right, like it's the most
Normal thing.
Yeah.
After he's eating rats and talking nonsense.
talking to himself, yeah.
And looks like a caveman. Yeah.
My top quote out of this movie was, "Kenny's got the keys. Kenny's got the keys."
Yeah.
Because he just kept repeating it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite or scariest scenes in this one, I had several. I had like 5 or 6 different ones that I couldn't really decide on. The first one that really got, I think, both of us was when they went to the guy that plays Lance Preston. His name is Sean, Sean. They go to his mom's house, and
Oh, yeah.
she's creepy in general.
She's
But
Alzheimer's
she
or
was-
dementia.
Right. But what really got me at her house was when they like moved the mirror or looked in the mirror and the
Yeah.
old lady's caretaker came out and like popped up.
Yeah, that was
That was
scary.
freaky. The security guard breaking into the room,
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was one of the spirits.
I know.
And it was just that guy. Really well done. When one of the girls is running through the hallway, all the doors were being blown off the hinges in different ways.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was really cool.
good.
The nurse popping up in the frame after the baby ritual scene.
Oh,
that was
that
really
scared
good.
me.
But my top 2 were probably the girl Marilyn brushing her hair on the bed, and then she kind of looks up. It reminds me of The Ring.
The creepy girl?
Yeah,
that was
like
creepy.
hair down her face. It was a toss-up between that one and then when they're crawling through the HVAC vents
Ooh.
and the demonic, like, contorted girl starts crawling and, like,
Yes.
chasing. That was really good.
At
So that was probably my
At
top
that
scene.
point, I didn't think that that Lance was actually like real. I thought it was just like
All in their head.
an illusion or whatever.
Honestly, it still could be.
That is true. I mean, this whole
Because
movie is like weird.
One of my other favorite scenes and one of the fun facts was, and I don't know why, they do it in both movies where they try to take the elevator. None of the
Dumb.
lights are working.
I know.
And they
Why would
think-
you?
Well, the elevator's got power. No. But both movies mimic it. So in this one, they actually, I guess they go into the elevator, but then they're at their hotel.
Yeah, that was weird.
So they allegedly escape, go back to their hotel,
they get in the
get
truck.
into the elevator. Yeah, go, like, drive everywhere.
Yeah,
Get
on
into
the
the elevator
interstate.
at their hotel.
which makes no sense.
And then on the doors of the elevator, it says AF Hotel.
yes,
Or A&F Hotel. Either
Yeah.
way, AF, Arthur Friedkin. I thought that was great.
that was a good nod to.
I think I made you pause it and rewind it just
Yeah.
to look at that.
Yeah, that
Um,
was pretty clever.
Yeah, and then the doors open up on the elevator and they realize they're back in
Back in the house.
institution.
Yeah,
So that was really cool. Let's
Crazy.
see, what else do I have? Oh, so some of my favorite visual effects was the eyes on, I don't know what the guy's name is in the actor, but he's the same actor from Letterkenny. I don't think you ever watched it, but he
I
plays
watched some episodes.
the guy that plays the hockey player Riley.
Okay.
He is in this. And whenever he dies and he like gets choked out or something and his eyes are like bloodshot, but not, I don't know. Whatever they did, it was a really cool effect.
Yeah, that was really good.
Um,
What do you mean? This was all real.
yeah. The electrocution scene of the security guard, I
Ooh,
thought was
that was
really, really
crazy.
good. With
That
the
was-
fire
yeah.
and the lights, just all of the effects in that whole
Imagine,
scene.
imagine seeing that in real life
Oh, it'd be terrifying.
and smelling it.
Yeah. That's, oof.
That would make me go crazy.
Things that I didn't really like about this, like some of the effects. The floating camera we talked about, So the guy that plays Lance Preston or Sean, when they first see him, one of his eyes is kind of like hazy.
Yes, like he's blind, like going
It's
blind.
almost like you've stayed in the dark, like the fish that live in the dark, like way, way deep. And because you're not exposed to light,
Yeah.
your eye kind of goes hazy.
Yeah, but you know why it was like that, right?
No.
Because Dr. Arthur gave him
Oh, that's right.
lobotomy.
And they said that's where he entered, was through the eye.
Right.
So every other scene, sometimes his eye looked completely fine. Other
Yeah,
times it looked
I think
hazy.
it was the lighting. Or they just forgot to add in.
Yeah, it could have been continuity or it could have been
Yeah.
lighting. I don't know. Either way, it was okay.
Yeah.
When the guy gets pushed out the window,
Oh, that was funny.
it's super dramatic.
So
and
dramatic.
the yell echoes in a way that's not natural to that environment.
You know what I also don't understand?
What?
Is that all of these doors are like not opening. Why can't they just go out the window?
Because it's an 80-foot drop.
Okay, there's
They
nothing
mentioned that in the first
there's
one.
nothing you can hang on to at all.
I mean, if you looked at the outside of the building,
guess you're right.
you can try. But they talk about that in the first one. Let's just go out the window that keeps opening. And what's his face? Mackenzie or Houston Gray.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's an 80-foot drop. Are you kidding me? We're on the 4th floor.
Oh.
Plus, based on when they tried to escape in the second movie, they very well could have jumped out of the window
And then back
and then
into
just
the...
fallen right back into like the lobby or something.
Eh.
So it really anything was possible with this. I don't think there really was.
I mean,
any...
you either die in there or get trapped in there, or you can
Right.
just try to escape and break a leg, maybe.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know who could survive an 80-foot fall, but
David Blaine, maybe. I don't know.
maybe.
So that's all I've got for the second movie.
Okay, so we can go on to our trivia or questions, whatever, fun
Yeah.
facts. So I already told you guys about the what the actual hospital was called and stuff. This film, the first film, was filmed over 10 nights and 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's really not a lot.
Mm-mm.
They must have been really like, let's just get her done.
Yeah.
In Dr. Arthur Friedkin's room, there is a book on the table. Do you know what that book is?
I do.
Okay.
Can you circle back to it?
Oh,
I have it in my notes, but
sure.
one second,
Okay.
one second. Goodness. Surely I didn't delete it from my notes.
I don't know, but my name is not Shirley.
Is this the first movie or the second movie? Oh, medical
the-
treatment of medical treatment of mental disease.
Yeah, so it was also, so what I saw is that the book is just one page of runes that is repeated.
Yeah.
So the
and
runes,
it's easy-ish to.
yeah, it says the runes can be translated directly into the English. Oh, sorry. The runes in the book are an old script by the Vikings. The runes book can be translated directly into English language, and the words clearly read out a parody of I've Learned, written by an unknown author. And the parody reads as follows. Steamy a relationship is at first, the passion fades, and there had better be a lot of money to take its place. I've learned that sometimes the people you expect to kick you when you're down will be the ones who do. I've learned that we don't have to ditch friends because they're dysfunction. They're more effed up than we think.
Huh.
They are more effed up than you think. Isn't
That's
that interesting?
Yeah.
Thought that was good.
Yeah.
Do you know who Dr. Friedkin is named after?
Sigmund Freud.
No. The character Dr. Arthur Friedkin in this film shares a surname with director William Friedkin, who directed The Exorcist.
I did read that and I completely forgot.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I don't have any more. Oh, in the second movie, at the end of the credits, I thought it was funny that a message reads, "No rats were eaten during the making of this film." I would
Yeah.
hope not. But I do have a fun fact. Did you know that I used to work? Sorry, I used to want to work in a psychiatric hospital when I was a teenager.
I did not, but now you live in a house and you get to play the same role.
Wow. Because of you?
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, I've always been drawn to mental health, I guess. So it's kind of, I don't know, maybe one day I'll go back to college and get my counseling degree. I've thought about it.
Yeah,
I don't
that'd be
know.
cool.
But yeah, I used to want to like volunteer and work in a psych ward.
Mm.
I thought that would have been so cool. I think
That
that's
is
why
a lot.
Asylum, American Horror Story is like my favorite.
Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
makes sense.
It's so interesting to me. Okay, so do you have anything?
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk through a few short things about the scenes that they repeated in both films. So they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Jeez.
So the first one that they copied was breathing on the camera lens to clean it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's common and it makes sense to have in both movies, but the way they did it was identical. The quote, "Let's split up," which is probably in every horror movie, but
Right.
specifically the way they did this one. The scenes to put up all the cameras, to take down all the cameras, the fact that the main camera guy goes missing or dies or whatever in the window room. They did that slightly different between the first and the second movie, but either way, that character's culmination was in the window room. The fog effect filling up the camera frame, they did in both. And then one of the girls either being on the ground or being dragged backwards.
Oh,
that was almost
yeah.
a shot-for-shot remake,
Right.
it seemed like. And then I only have 2 would you rather questions for you. Do you have any for me?
I do.
All right. You want to go first
Actually,
or second?
I just have one. I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, so would you rather stay overnight by yourself in an abandoned insane asylum or by yourself in an abandoned prison locked away in a jail cell? So you're either crazy or you're a criminal. By yourself.
That's tough. And there's nobody else.
No, you're literally by yourself.
I'm by myself. And I'm locked in either way. It doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
So in the insane asylum, am I locked in a room or I'm just locked behind the front door?
Behind the front door. Like
But
everything's open.
in the prison, I'm in a jail cell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the jail cell.
Because you're like
Yeah.
locked in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can't, it's kind of
can
like
just
when
sleep.
if I put the covers over my head. If I can't see them, they can't see me. If I can't get to them, surely they can't get past those iron bars. Listen, that's what I'm going to convince myself
It
of.
would be more of like you can't escape them.
Where am I going to go in a mental hospital? If I'm going down a hallway, surely there's more.
Yeah, but at least there's like
Nah, lock me in a
places to
cell.
go. Okay.
Lock me in one cell.
I would have to
call
agree
it a
with that.
day.
I would agree with that.
Plus, I'm not going to go anywhere. Are you under the impression that I'm going to explore this mental hospital in the dark?
I don't know.
Nope.
You might.
Sure am not.
Nope. I'm gonna find a
I'm
little
going to
corner
find the
and
tightest,
I'm gonna
the smallest room I can,
or a closet.
and I'm going to camp out there. I can deal with claustrophobia. I can't deal with big open spaces of darkness. Nah, not a
no,
chance.
That's scary. All right. What are your would you rather questions for me?
So one of them is, never mind. I'll start with the one that's more relevant to this movie.
Okay.
So you are Lance Preston.
Okay. Hi.
Would you eat rats to survive, or would you starve yourself to death?
Oh my gosh.
Like you have no hope of escape. You are living there. Do you want to survive?
No.
Okay, so you just starve yourself to death?
Yeah.
All
Or
right.
I would kill myself.
You
I
can't.
would. Why?
I don't know. Surely he tried, right? You're going to be stuck there either way, according to their logic. If you die there, you stay there.
I mean, I guess, but maybe he got addicted to eating rats. Maybe he liked him so much.
Maybe.
He was so hungry. He had that first rat, and he was like, "Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna stay
That's
alive
good.
for
This is
10 more
just like
years."
Popeyes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I would probably, I don't know. I'd probably starve for a little bit, and then I'd probably break down and go, I mean, whatever I find. If it's alive, I'm going to eat
I
it.
thought that he was gonna start eating them.
I thought so, too. He looked like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I think I'd probably eat just about whatever to survive.
I don't know.
Because
I wouldn't want to.
I would just be hangry the whole time. So I don't know how long it takes to starve to death. Surely it can't take that long, but a few days maybe,
I think
right?
you've said surely like 20 times, by the way, and it's really
Maybe
making me
people
mad.
will make this into a drinking game. And
Oh my gosh. Okay.
so my second question is more so related to a different movie we've watched recently. What movie was it? Oh, the houses that October.
Whoa.
The houses that October built.
Okay.
Remember you said it was similar to Hell House? And you were like, let's watch it.
Yeah.
So we did. So I have a question that's kind of based on that.
Okay.
How would you react to finding a video of yourself sleeping, but you know it's not me because we're both in the video?
Wait, what?
So if you were going through your photos and you're like, what is this? And
Yeah.
you clicked on a video saved on your phone.
Yeah.
That was a video of like somebody walking through our front
Oh my
door,
god, that just gave
going
me,
to our
like-
bedroom, and like hovering over both of our faces. So like we're both in the video. You know, it's very clear it couldn't have been me or anybody you know that filmed it. How do you react to that?
I would throw up on command because that's really
Throw
creepy.
up on command.
Yeah, that's really creepy. Like
It is really
if you Think
creepy.
about it. It's like, who was watching me?
So that scene happens in the houses that October built, and I
Yeah.
think that was one of my favorite scenes of that movie. And there's a sequel that we still haven't watched yet. But what was
know.
even cooler was they don't keep it a mystery as to who was filming,
Right.
because they're in an RV and they're filming in there. They walk past like the wardrobe that has a mirrored door, and you can't see super clear, but you can see enough past the camera light to see that it was like one of the clowns or people
Yeah.
chasing
Oh
them.
my gosh.
So yeah, super super creepy. I don't know how I would react.
I would.
I would be terrified. We would
out.
move. I don't know
Yeah.
where we would move to,
I don't
but
know.
we'd be gone.
Yeah, and that's why I lock my door at night.
Yeah. I mean, there's a key hidden not far from it. But yeah,
Where?
I'm not going to tell you.
Why?
I
What
mean,
if I need it?
You can know, but I'm not going to say it now. I don't want people breaking into our house.
Nobody knows where we live.
Okay.
Okay.
We have like 10 listeners, and they've all been here.
Yeah, because they're all gonna come break in our house. Like,
Yeah, we have really expensive stuff. We have shiplap walls.
yeah,
We have a dog that's
yeah. They
Probably
wouldn't. They wouldn't
belongs in a
even be
mental
able to make
institution.
it. They wouldn't even be able to make it inside our house.
if they shot Duncan, they could go wherever they wanted.
Don't say that.
I'm just saying.
None
There's
none of our friends or family would do that.
I wouldn't put it past any of them.
Actually, you might be right.
Exactly.
People.
People would.
Dang it, people.
That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got
I
too.
didn't think we would. I
Hey,
didn't
we
think
did.
it would last this long.
We did pretty good. That's what she said. Okay, that's not.
Gosh, we are doing so good at
I'm
avoiding that.
sorry.
It's all right.
All right. Well,
What do we say at the end? Don't you have a spiel typed out or something?
no, I just say thanks for listening. Let us know if you've seen this movie, if you like it, if you have any other recommendations for movies that you want us to review. You
Yeah.
probably won't tell us, but it'd be cool if you did.
Yeah, text us. Reach out.
Yeah.
Tell us you care about what we talk about.
Yeah.
Or don't.
'cause,
That's fine.
I mean, we're just lonely ducks over here.
Yep.
But thanks for listening, guys. Really, we appreciate it. And like, share, subscribe.
Do we
please.
talk about what the next episode's going to be?
I have no idea what the next.
You don't
episode-
know? All right. Well, looks like I'm planning this one. We are talking about
Oh yeah, you told me earlier.
The Ring. There
The
are
Ring.
3 movies, so we're going to be watching all 3 of them and hopefully finding more fun facts about those than this one. This was kind of a lesser known franchise, so
Yeah.
compared to The Ring, we've got some big hitting actresses in the next one. So that'll be exciting.
I guess.
And this is one of the creepiest movies to me. Like this one was
this freaked me out.
The
as a
Ring gave
kid.
me a lot of nightmares as a kid.
Yeah, same.
But we'll keep that for the next episode.
Alrighty, sounds good.
All right. Bye.
Bye.